I remember when Chick-fil-A, when Truett Cathy said, he went to the Ritz-Carlton, and while he was there, he came back and said, you know what, while I was there, they said my pleasure. I want you guys to start saying my pleasure. He said, so when a customer comes up, or a guest comes up, then when they say thank you, we say my pleasure. And I was like, oh, great. This is, close to 20 years ago. I wrote it down. I was like, okay, we're going to say my pleasure. And I ran back to my restaurant and said, hey, guys, we're going to start saying my pleasure. After each transaction, and they looked at me and their eyes glassed over and they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, we love change. And they put me on their shoulders, they started carrying me around because they love that kind of stuff, right? Isn't that what happens in our organizations when it comes to change? No. And that didn't happen to me either. They looked at me like I was nuts. They looked at me like I said, let's skin a cat right here, and I have 3 cats and we could do that to one of them. But anyway, so while we're there, we go over this process. We get it in place. It lasts for about 3 weeks. Then I get tired of just badgering him about it, and I kind of forgot about it and we gave up. So we stopped doing it. I go to the next seminar. Truett gets up there and says, when the customer says thank you, we say what? My pleasure. I wrote it down. Okay, we're going to do this again. So I ran back, started implementing it. It lasted about a month. Okay. Third time, we're there, and Truett's up there, and clearly Truett's not going to give this thing up. He says, when the customer says thank you, we say what? My pleasure. So I wrote it down. I was like, okay. So Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? Well, what am I going to do different now? So I started talking to some of the other owners, and I said, I have this great incentive plan. And so I went back to my store and said, guys, we're going to start saying my pleasure. And if you don't say my pleasure, I'm going to promote you to customer status. I'll wait for a second. So if you don't say my pleasure, we will promote you to customer status. So what that means is we're going to fire you. Okay, it's a polite way of saying we're going to fire you. So basically, our new incentive plan is you say my pleasure, you're fired. It's very simple. I know that we expect a lot of our team members. It's hard. And I remember one time I was walking through the kitchen, and at the time we had these speakers above, and you could hear special orders. Like if somebody would say, I would like bacon on my sandwich, you could hear it so you can start the order. And I walked through, my kitchen was empty. I was like, where is everybody? And so I walked out there, and they were like, shh, shh. And I was like, okay, let's see where this is going. So I walk out there, and so here's how the whole thing worked out. So we expect a lot of things from our team. We expect them to use upscale verbiage at Chick-fil-A. So if you come up there and say, if you say, I would like some more Coke, they would say, well, can I refresh your beverage? We say, my pleasure. We actually introduce people in our drive-thru. So when you pull up to the drive-thru, if they take your order, they'll say, your total is $5.54. Sarah, meet Sarah at the window, or give Sarah a high five at the window. We introduce the person at the window. We have a lot of different things like, hey, this is our protocol. This is what we do. I mean, I did pull up to another restaurant one time, and I pulled up, and the person said, go. And I was like, hello? And they said, go. And so I was feeling ornery that day, so I went. I went somewhere else and got food. So we use upscale verbiage. These are things that we put in place. But I know we put a lot on our employees, and we're very, very busy. And so they tend to mess things up and get things screwed up. So here's what happened in that transaction. The girl gets up there, and she takes her order, and she says, your total will be $5.54, and Sarah will be happy to pleasure you at the window. So, of course, I thought that was hysterical, and I was just like, this is awesome. And so what happened was everybody was up front because they wanted to see what this transaction was going to look like. Are we going to meet customers' expectations? Are we not going to meet their expectations? How's that going to look? And so the customer pulls up there, and it was a couple of guys, like college guys, and so they pulled up in their car, and they were just like, hey, and so we all kind of laughed about it. I think we gave them ice cream or something. But I don't know if that took care of their needs, but, we'll just leave it there, okay? Those are some of the tools that we put in place. We're very specific about how the architecture looks.